There seems to be a discord in U.S. President Donald Trump's office over Greenland. The question on everyone's mind right now is the Trump administration planning to use military intervention to get world's largest island, or is it planning to simply buy it? There are two versions coming out of the Trump office. One is where the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president and his team are discussing a range of options, and these options can also include utilizing the U.S. military, which will be at the chief's disposal. Since his first term, Trump has floated the idea of purchasing Greenland, which is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. As per his state secretary, Marco Rubio, this version of purchasing the island still is likely in the works. As U.S. media reports, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has told lawmakers that President Trump plans to buy Greenland rather than invade it. Rubio apparently made his remarks in a briefing with lawmakers from the main armed services and foreign policy committees in both chambers of Congress on Monday. Rubio did not go into details of what he meant by buying Greenland. This is the same day that the president purportedly asked for an update plan for acquiring the territory. Greenland is a sparsely populated autonomous territory that falls under the sovereign boundaries of Denmark, a NATO member. President Trump took jibe at Denmark, slamming its dog sled team in Greenland. Take a listen.
Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you. You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move.
Leaders of 6 NATO nations joined with the Prime Minister of Denmark to issue a remarkable joint statement pushing back against President Trump's assertion that the United States should take over Greenland. But Trump seems certain that everyone knows Washington needs Greenland to fend off enemies' battleships.
I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it, and they know that.
Now, the fact that the U.S. has left the military option open itself contradicts with Marco Rubio's claim to U.S. lawmakers that Trump was looking to buy the island. The messaging is unclear as of now, and all eyes are on that Arctic region. All right, joining us live is Mr. Freddie Swain, former Danish ambassador to India. Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us. From Copenhagen's perspective, how are they viewing this mixed messaging from the Trump administration at this point?
Very much indeed. I think it's high hours really to find out what is meant, what is being said, and so forth. And I don't see any distinction between what Marco Rubio said and President Trump and his press person said. It's part of the same equation. Of course, nobody can exclude the use of military force because that's the superpower of the US. So all the tools are on the table. That does not necessarily mean that they will do it. And I personally don't believe that they will start a kind of military invasion. No way. It's about really saying we have all these tools and we can consider at some point of time. In between, I think it's much more important really to look into how do you de-escalate the situation, how do you start the diplomatic the kind of dialogue which is needed, because you can't have this situation going on for too long, and you need really to come to terms on how to do things and what kind of future would there be for the Greenlandic people. And don't forget that it is the Greenlandic people who will have to make their own decision whether to stay within the Kingdom of Denmark or to seek independence. It's their choice, and our Prime Minister has said that many times and really clearly repeated that view. It's for the Greenlandic people.
And a lot of people have been talking about the future of NATO if something like this happens and the United States in one way or the other would end up acquiring Greenland. How does Denmark and NATO allies view that aspect of it, with the United States being part of NATO?
I mean, this is kind of discussion in a big family, so to say. NATO has a lot of members, including US being the most important member. On the other side, you have Denmark, and Greenland being part of the kingdom is also part of NATO. So how can you have a situation where there will be this kind of discussion and tension? So you need to find a solution. Therefore, de-escalation is so important. But should it come to the worst case scenario, of course, that will, let's say, weaken NATO, because you can't have a fight between the European side of NATO and the biggest spender and the military power of NATO. That's impossible. But I don't think it will come to that, and I'm pretty sure that the diplomatic efforts will be, let's say, restarted or even intensified in order to find a solution that then will diffuse this tension.
Well, thank you so much for that perspective, Mr. Ambassador. I look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Dhanyavad, all the best. Thank you very much.